Welcome everyone to the October 18th City Council public hearing. And before we move to the public hearings on our agenda tonight, we want to recognize two birthdays. So we have Councilor Clark and we have City Manager John Reese. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Singing is always appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh,
No applause.
didn't I do that at the neighborhood summit?
Like that.
All right, then. We do wish you both the very best and hope it's a great day for you, and think you could probably be in more fun locations than you are at the current moment on your birthday. So we'll see how fast we can get through this. The first public hearing is an ordinance concerning personal property sale procedures and amending Section 2.835, the Eugene Code 1971. City Manager, you want to introduce the topic?
Thank you, Mayor. The amendment that you just talked about is necessary to update the Eugene Code to reflect Oregon revised statutes regarding the posting and publishing of found property prior to its sale. If adopted, the ordinance will reduce by 75% the cost incurred by the city in publishing the lists of property prior to sale. Property would be held by the city for 60 days instead of 30 days before going to public auction or disposal.
So if I understand you correctly, it saves money and it complies with Oregon statutes. Is that
Correct.
Okay. And I open the hearing. I see no one wanting to speak on it. I close it, and we move to the next item. The next one is an ordinance concerning citation authority of the University of Oregon Department of Public Safety and amending Section 4.035 of the Eugene Code 1971. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a public hearing regarding amendments to Eugene Code 4.035, which provides citation authority to University of Oregon Department of Public Safety officers to enforce sections of the Eugene Code. The proposed amendment will allow U of O public safety officers to issue citations for violations of the Eugene Code when the public safety officer has probable cause to believe that the person to be cited committed the violation on property owned or leased by the University of Oregon. The ordinance does not extend any other new policing authority to U of O Department of Public Safety officers, nor change the authority previously granted by the city beyond the ability of Department of Public Safety officers to cite on probable cause on owned or leased U of O properties.
So I know we have up to speak tonight Officer McDermott to talk about this, and maybe that will answer some questions that might be forthcoming. But I hope by the time we're through with this that whoever's listening will understand why the university wants to do this and what the limitations and authority are, and why that might be a help to our own Eugene Police Department. So I'm hoping that we will make that clear for anybody listening. So with that, Officer McDermott, you want to come up? And I guess I need to open it, and please.
Mayor Piercy and members of City Council. My name is Carolyn McDermott, Senior Associate Director of the University of Oregon Department of Public Safety. My work address is 2141 East 15th Avenue in Eugene. I'm a resident of Eugene, Ward 5. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you. Commissioned University of Oregon Department of Public Safety, or UODPS officers, currently possess probable cause arrest authority under Oregon Revised Statute 352.385. Eugene Code 4.035 does not authorize UODPS officers to issue a citation based on probable cause. The proposed amendment would provide a technical fix so UODPS officers could utilize the statutory authority they possess to issue citations under the Eugene Municipal Code. The expanded municipal citation authority the Department of Public Safety was granted in November 2009 has reduced the duplication of workload done by UODPS officers and Eugene Police Department officers. It has also streamlined enforcement on campus, reducing the amount of time persons are detained and freeing up UODPS officers to spend more time proactively patrolling campus and developing trust-based community policing practices. UODPS officers are working to develop effective relationships with campus community partners, including students, to provide prioritized policing services that are aligned with the campus culture and have a positive impact on the learning, living, and working environment. This amendment to Eugene Code 4.035 would allow further time savings, as UO-DPS officers would be able to conduct investigations of lower-level quality-of-life crimes, develop probable cause for arrest, and issue the citation for the crime independent of the Eugene Police Department. This would be particularly effective for cases of theft, such as bicycles, laptops, and iPods, trespass cases in buildings and residence halls, laptops, criminal mischief, harassment, and minor assaults. In these cases, UO-DPS officers often conduct a follow-up investigation and identify a suspect, but since they do not witness the crime and the current citation authority does not allow them to cite based on probable cause, EPD must respond to campus to issue the citation. Greater efficiency and further elimination of duplicated workload would be realized by allowing the University of Oregon commissioned public safety officers under the authority of the Eugene Code 4.035 to issue citations for certain misdemeanor offenses of the Eugene Code based on probable cause. Thank you.
Thank you. And I close the hearing, since I have no one else signed up for it, and ask if there are questions. And I know that Councilor Brown wants to ask some questions, but I would really appreciate it if we heard from our own police department about why they think it's a good idea.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Simply put, it is going to be more of a great time-saving implementation for both. As Carolyn McDermott mentioned, often their agency will conduct an investigation where they will determine who's responsible for a crime. They may not have seen the offense occur, which is the whole purpose of having the probable cause arrest or to cite, giving them that authority. They'll have the whole case laid out, documented. They'll have to call a Eugene police officer, will have to come and essentially duplicate those efforts, because we'll have to document in our reports the same steps taken when they have the statutory authority to do it in the first place. So it's going to, the other thing is it saves them time as well as us, so we can focus our efforts in other areas.
Thank you. Councilor Brown, did you have some questions you wanted to ask?
Yes, I do. I don't necessarily have any problem with this. I guess my first question is, why didn't we address this last November in 2009 when we granted the expanded authority to issue citations? Why it wasn't just grouped with the other ordinance that we did about a year ago?
Yes, it's something that we identified as an oversight. As Carolyn mentioned, it was a glitch.
Okay.
And quite frankly, it was just missed.
Sure. Okay. We're all human. We make mistakes. We forget things. I do it all the time. Okay. So this doesn't grant any authority for arrest. Is that correct? We would still have to call it EPD to effect an arrest.
Yeah, if a U of O DPS officer, if we need to lodge the person, then a Eugene police officer has to do that. They have no mechanism to get somebody lodged into the jail.
Okay. So if somebody causes a problem during one of these citations being issued, they're going to call EPD.
That is correct, and usually it's in a case where the criminal behavior somehow it's real obvious that it's going to continue, and they need to get the person off the street.
Right. The example that was given about stolen laptops, I mean, I guess that's a pretty big deal, probably ranking right up there with stolen bicycles, probably on any college campus nowadays. And it said that, let's say a student reports their laptop was stolen, but the way I read this, it has to be stolen on university property. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Either leased or owned by the U of O. So if it's stolen from an apartment house off campus, then the campus police can't be involved in it.
Well,
They
actually,
can maybe find out about it because the other thing in the example was that the person who stole the laptop is going to maybe access one of the U of O networks, say like the library or whatever, and that's going to allow a trace back to that location where that computer is. So the campus police, I imagine, would be involved with that. And then, if it's off campus, then what do? They call you guys, and then you go interview this person?
that's correct. And I
Just
I was the one who provided that example, and it might be a poor example in the circumstances where, like you say, the actual theft occurred off campus. There is the theft statute covers possession of stolen property as well, which would actually occur
Okay.
at the location. It might have been a bad example. I was just trying to depict a...
Well, I don't know if it was a bad example. I mean, I think it was probably a good example to use the computers, because I'm sure that's quite common.
And I guess...
But I was just curious about the nuts and bolts, how that would work with,
Yeah.
non-campus and on-campus.
And there are going to be many situations, as there has been in the last year since we modified the ordinance, where we're still going to partner with U of O DPS when necessary to work through these particular issues.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Zelenka?
So, Councilor Brown actually answered one of my questions, which was that it's citations and not arrest and incarceration, right?
That's correct.
And when I look at the graphs that were provided to us, there's really about four of this areas or areas that give citations cover probably 90% of the citations that we have. Criminal trespass 2, consumption of alcohol on an unlicensed premise, minor in possession of alcohol, and possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana. Those four in particular, which is almost all of these, are crimes that actually occur right then and there. And so in those circumstances, minor in possession, for example, the DPS officer has to hold that person, and if there's no EPD person around, they have to wait until you guys arrive to give a citation?
No. And this is one of the things, actually, this is, the ordinance covered violations such as MIP some time ago. What we're concentrating on, and we were adjusting the ordinance this time were for criminal offenses, crimes that are punishable as a crime, or offenses punishable as a crime by ordinance, such as the theft. And unfortunately, MIP and there was another one that you mentioned there. Oh, I'm sorry, the marijuana violation. Those are actually violations, and what we're looking at is probable cause situations for crimes. And one of the things that's going to make this ordinance far more valuable to DPS and EPD is being able for them to make that probable cause arrest for a theft, because 9 times out of 10, or it's going to be very rare where they would actually see the theft, they would actually see the criminal mischief occur in their presence. It's going to be a matter of they're going to have to put the pieces together and figure out who did it later, and then contact the person and issue a citation.
So on this chart, which ones of these are criminal? The ones that, not like theft 2, theft 3, criminal mischief?
See, I think it's going to be easier if I point out the violations. Dog at large, littering, the MIP, the highest volume they have there, possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana, and then the last one, urinate or defecate in public.
What about prohibited nudity, my favorite?
I'm sorry, you're right. That is a violation as
Good.
well.
That's not a crime.
No flashing.
Okay. No flashing, no streaking. Okay. So We have until 9:30, so I had a couple more questions.
24/7 operation, so okay.
Just kidding. Thank you. Thank you, Captain.
The only final, I don't see anybody else in the queue, only final question I have, just for the sake of the public, is that if someone thinks they've been cited incorrectly, what is their recourse? Is it different than it would be if you cited them?
It would be no different. There would be no difference. The same civil liability applies. We just went through this with our district attorney's office in discussing some of these very issues, and it's the same liability applies. One of the benefits of issuing a citation is there's no false arrest liability in that you're not depriving somebody of their liberty. We're not incarcerating them falsely for these.
So they got a citation, and they didn't think that it was properly cited. What is the recourse?
The recourse is to fall back on the judgment of the court.
Okay. And so this doesn't shift that at all?
None whatsoever.
That's what I wanted to get out there for people to hear. All right. Thank you very, very much. And with that, I think we are through with this particular hearing. And I see no more questions, so thank you all for being here, and we're done with the business this evening. Thank you. Let the birthday parties begin. Hoorah.